and welcome to yet another amazing episode. It's November. November is such an amazing month, and because of that, I'm going to be starting it with a story. A very crazy, interesting story that I know you might find unbelievable, but hey, it's my story. And now that I look back, I think it's very funny. Tell me what you think. I would love, love, love to hear about what you think about it. So, welcome, Karibu. I don't know if I remember to introduce myself, but I'm Jacinta Wangeshi, a toxic relationship coach, and we talk all about toxic relationships, among other things, including my life lessons and how it has impacted me to make the decisions that I've made, hoping that they will also help you navigate through whatever it is that you're going through, but mostly toxic relationships. So, Karibu, welcome. Let's get into it. So, how do I start? Story. This is how we used to start stories as kids. Anyway, why am I giving this story? I'm giving this story because this happened to me last year in November. Yes, and now we're in November. And November is a pretty interesting month for me. It is the month that I got engaged. Yes, I got engaged November of last year, 2023. And crazy enough, if this story had not happened the way it happened, which involves my ex, I would probably not be married by now. I would never have found my now husband, who was by then my fiance. So I just felt the need to share with you this story, and also because I've been hearing so many of these stories of exes who do not want to be ex. They do not want to be in your life, or they don't want you in their lives, but at the same time, they do not want to let you go. And I'm hoping that this story is going to encourage someone who is in a similar situation. Yes. So let's begin. I do not want to say the story of how I met my fiance yet, because that is an entirely whole video on its own. I will just start with our first date, because this was like how the story unravels. So my by then I remember I had spoken to my now husband the night before. That's when we started talking, and we had agreed. Actually, it was on a Saturday. That was on a Friday when we were having a conversation, or when we started just talking. And on Saturday, we were still talking, and I remember I had gone through my day. My Saturdays were my days. I used to go out for road trips. I just used to love spending the day to myself. Remember Sunday and all the other days, it's been either work, kids, and all those things going on. But Saturday was specifically my day to do whatever I want to do with myself. And most of the time, it would either be a road trip and music, or just go somewhere, discover something. Just the way you see a road somewhere and you're like, oh, I wonder where this road goes. I follow it. That used to be me. So anyway, he texts me and tells me, hey, can I take you out to dinner tonight? Remember, this was our first meeting. And yeah, I agreed. Why not? Because, like I said, for me, my Saturdays were the days when I could meet people. Saturdays, I had put them or blocked them specific for meeting new people. I wouldn't do it on any other day of the week. So if I didn't see him that Saturday, it will have to mean that maybe the next Saturday, and you never know, so many things can happen in the week. So my plans for that day were actually just go home, chill, maybe watch Netflix or something. But I was like, okay, why not? Because I was still, by then, where I had gone for my road trip, it was really a distance, just hours from Nairobi, which is where my home is. Anyway, we agreed to meet up in a certain time and the place. It was a really nice restaurant. Of course, I suggested it because he did not know a lot about Kenya. He was just, I think, That was the second day that he was in Kenya. And it was also not very far away from him, so I felt like this is better for me because I do not want to give him the responsibility of his horse, the chance to travel halfway across Nairobi to come somewhere where it's closer for me. So it was just being polite. So anyway, he didn't have a problem with that. So anyway, we agree the meeting time and the place. That's done. As I'm driving back, my car develops some mechanical issues and I had to stop somewhere. It was around 4 p.m. Remember, I have just been in my casual wear and now you have a date, and dates look good. That's the whole aspect of being on dates. And I used to love dressing up and going out on dates. And if you have not watched the previous video where I've done on enjoying being a single woman, you need to, for you to be able to understand or to just add on more on how my life used to be as a single lady. So anyway, I had to park by somewhere, have coffee as I was waiting for the mechanic to come and pick the car and all that. And I went home. By that time, it was already too late. Like, it was almost the time that she was supposed to meet up. So I texted my guy, tell him, hey, I'm gonna be running late. I hope you don't mind. And he was like, take all the time that you need. So it meant that I could not drive there, but I had to take a cab. So I take a cab and get there. I was a bit late and we meet and we are talking. And crazy enough, and I think I would want him to be here to express his side of the story. It was not the conventional dates. What do I mean by that? The way in a date, everyone is always putting their best foot forward, talking about their good things. I have been to dates with men who just talk about their accomplishment the whole entire time. They do not even want you to talk. This one told me mostly about his dark side or things about him that I needed to know because they would determine whether it's a deal breaker or not. Like, it was something that was big in his life and he did not want us to continue only for me to learn later. Yeah. And I'm there doing my calculations in my head and wondering, why is he telling me all these stories? Either one, he's being manipulative, trying to fish out some information from me, like, I'll give you some of my dirt, give me some of your dirt. Or, I don't know, I really couldn't figure out what he was driving at or what he was hoping to achieve from all this. But aside from that, he was just a gentleman. He would pull my seat, everything that I had always wanted in a man. I'm big on wanting a gentleman, an old school gentleman who can pull your seat, open the door for you, stand up when you need to stand up from the table. He was it all. But the conversation for me, it just was not making sense. It was just not the typical conversation that I have with people, whereby we talk about dating, who you've dated, I don't know what. Maybe you see if there is fireworks or some sparks. This was like reading a biography. Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, I'm so done. It was The meal was nice, the atmosphere was nice, he was a gentleman, but I'm thinking, no, I like something explosive. I like, you know, and especially when you're being in a toxic relationship, you think that a good or successful relationship needs to have, I don't know, some chemistry, some just something going on, the excitement, maybe some sexual tension. And so mind you, it's day one. So I'm actually trying to say something here. If I had not done the work on myself, I probably would have dismissed this to be the most boring date I've ever been on. Why? Because it was very calm. It was very just a normal conversation that you would have with someone. But this was also a very heavy conversation where someone is telling me things about them and I'm wondering, okay, do I need to be knowing this by the first date? And I'm very guarded. Remember, I've come from a relationship where I know people can use things against me, so I'm not saying a lot, but I'm listening and asking questions, yeah? So anyway, and this is something that I had known because I had done the work on myself. And the coach that I was working with by then was telling us about the difference between a healthy and an unhealthy relationship, whereby in the healthy relationship, it's very calm, it's very safe. An unhealthy relationship sometimes looks like fireworks and all those exciting things that we are thinking a relationship should have, but it's because it is triggering something, it reminds you of something. And I had been on those dates, and most of the time they would end up like poof. The way they just showed up with all the explosiveness would be the same. They would just disappear, like you wouldn't even know what's happening. So anyway, we had the whole conversation, the nice meals, the food was nice. I remember that place is a high-end restaurant that I really like. It has nice food and all that. So anyway, at the end, we said goodbye, kiss me on the cheek. It's just a gentleman in every way. He asked me whether he could see me again. But remember, in me, I'm thinking, hey, okay, he's all nice, he's very nice, but I don't know. I'm the part of me of there's still some part of me that is missing that toxicity, which is actually in form of either love bombing, somebody who's just showering you with gifts, with comments, or is just they are telling you about themselves, and you're like, and you start, you know, if you ever get yourself in this point or in this date where the first date you're thinking of a future with this person, most of the time that is not your person. Yes, most of the time it's not your person. So here I am in a relationship that I'm asking myself, do I even want to do another date with him? But anyway, we just said goodbyes, and that was that. I got into the cab, and this is where we have the tense music. I see something that petrified me, something that would scare me and would get me thinking a lot and make me forget about the date. What did I see? What did I see? I saw my ex. My ex getting into his car. Like, what are the odds? Yeah, what are the odds? He's also getting to his car the same time I'm driving out. The place was somewhere in a big mall. I don't think I should give the details, but yeah, it was somewhere in one of these high-end malls. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't know, maybe it's a coincidence that I'm seeing him here, but okay, let me wait and see. So I told my cab guy, hey, would you mind just slowing down for a bit? Because I saw the car, he was getting to the car, so I knew he was coming out. So we stopped. You know, in Kenya, we have barriers where you need to check out of the mall and all that. So he goes in front and he scans his card and he drives out of the parking lot or out of the mall. So I tell the cab guy, let's go now. Because I wanted to see, is it me he's trailing or what? Remember, when you have been in a relationship with a toxic person, and especially someone that is prone to stalking you, you become very paranoid. And at that specific time, the first time when I saw it, I was like, okay, am I imagining or is it true? So when he was driving by, I took a picture and I sent it to my friends and I told them, tell me if I'm crazy. The number plates, I know the number plates. They are the ones. And there I am, thinking, okay, it could be a coincidence. I don't know. This is not the first time this has happened to me, but I'm thinking after 2 years, someone has moved on, right? So we drive out with a cab driver, and it was a straight road, but I can't see his car anywhere. I'm expecting to see it in front of me somewhere, even if it's somewhere very far, right? But I can't see the car. So I'm thinking, okay, could this really be a coincidence? So we drive like barely 2 minutes. There's a gas station or a petrol station on the side, and I'm seated on the back left seat. So I see the car parked somewhere here on the side. Like it's not, like just where you get in the gas station, somewhere there on the wall. Yeah, that's when or how I knew that this person had been trailing me. And all manner of things and thoughts are going through my head, like, what is this about? What is going on? I really don't care about what they do with their lives. Why are they so concerned about my life? And now I'm even scared for my safety and just wondering, like, what are you hoping to achieve from following me around and just messing up with my life? And I remember that day I went home, and now I was speaking to my friends, one who is in Canada and another one who is in Kenya. I remember it's sometime past midnight. And so I was just having this conversation with them, and we talked about stalking and how it's dangerous. And I have been doing this research, and especially about here in the US, where it was talking about women being 5 times more likely to be killed by intimate partners than men. And let me just let that sink in. 5 more times more than men. Like, a man is more likely to be killed by a stranger than a woman. So this is not something new. And it always starts with this sort of stalking and all these things. And the reason why I'm sharing this story is because I get so many DMs of women who are telling me, he's always stalking me, he's coming to my work, he's doing this and this and this and this. And let me tell you, you are not being paranoid, and your safety should always come first. So back to my story, I didn't even sleep that night. My then date even texted me and called me like, did you get home safe? I didn't even pick the call because I was so engrossed with the call that I was on with my friend and just talking about the whole thing, that I just texted him and I told him, I go home safe. Thank you for a wonderful night. That was it. But in me doing this, let me tell you how sometimes bad situations work in our favor. I was so encompassed or engraved or just taken over by this whole scenario with my ex that it did not give me time to think or to analyze my date with this guy. So much that I think it was second day, the next day was Sunday. He calls me and he's like, "Hey, I would want to see you again." I think it was we kept chatting, but I was not very chatty because remember I have a lot in my mind. I think it was Monday when he was like, "I would want to see you again." And in my head, I was like, okay, so how did the date even go? It was like I was not there because everything had just been turned around. And the crazy thing is that if I had the time to really analyze this sort of date, I would not have given him a second chance. I would not have gone to see him another second time. Why? I would have self sabotaged. I would have thought, no, it cannot be that this man he must have a hidden agenda. And this happens a lot. The hardest sort of relationship you'll ever be in is a healthy one after you come from a toxic relationship. So if you're coming from a toxic relationship and you haven't worked on yourself, please do get a therapist, get a coach. And even after you get a healthy person, still continue to work on yourself, catching yourself, because you will self-sabotage a lot. It is something that I'm still working with, because you find the old behaviors wanting to pop up. Remember, you have been on autopilot for a very long time. Now you need to start catching yourself. You need to start realizing that this is not healthy. It was healthy. It served you back then when you had to protect yourself, but now you don't need to. So anyway, I gave him a chance. I was starting this job somewhere where I was volunteering in a shelter, and I thought, okay, it's my first time there, so it really wouldn't hurt me to just invite him over. I just told him about, this is what I'll be doing tomorrow. Do you think you can join? And he was like, yes, I'll be there. Yeah. So he comes over the next day at this children's home, and I got to see a different side of him. I got to see him with those ladies, and I got to see him with these kids. And because I have kids, I could see how him relating with these children, he'll be able to, maybe he might people to relate with my kids. Like I go to see, the first time when you meet someone, you're so uptight, you're so skeptical, you're like, okay, who is he? What is he hoping to get from all this? But no, this other time you see him in a relaxed atmosphere. He's not all dressed up. You're not dressed up. I'm casual wearing my jeans and all that. He's also very casual. He's handling. We are talking. We're chatting with these girls. We are cooking with them. We are playing with kids. I got to see a different perspective of him, and that's when I was like, okay, maybe, just maybe, there's something in there. And after that, we went for coffee, and we also met one of my friends. Um, she was not like really there. Where we went is I just needed to grab something, and she happened to be in the vicinity. The same time we got talking, and I got to know a lot more about him. And at the end of the day, we were like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe we can try. Maybe there's something here. So just to say, like, there's always a silver lining to every situation. I would have missed out on this good man, on my husband, had I over just sat there and started thinking about everything, about and created all these scenarios in my head and thought of why I should not see him again. But as fate would have it, something was about to show up to show me another perspective of things. It is through the incident that happened that made me not to overthink the situation. And if you're prone to overthinking like I am, then we self-sabotage a lot. So you get to catch yourself. But back to the main point, or what I'm trying to say is this person or your toxic ex or someone who is stalking you will actually be wanting to do this for some reasons. One, they still want to exert control over you. They were not able to control you. They were able to control you when you're in the relationship. Now you're out of it, but they still want you to fear them. Two, the main one, they want you to fear them. Probably they might or might never act on it, but they still want to show you that I am still here and I can get you wherever I want, whenever I want. So to exert that fear will lead to the third point, which is keeping you stuck. When you have this fear, you cannot move on. You cannot date someone else. You cannot. So much has happened to me in terms of stalking that maybe one day we'll talk about, but it keeps you stuck unless you can be able to recognize this is a pattern that he's put you through. So why are you giving it the energy or the time? Eventually, I would end up resorting to, you know what, I have been through this, I have seen this more times than one. So what am I doing? And sometimes it can even keep you from conducting your business. You're stuck there, you're petrified. What do you do? I had thought of even moving to this place where there's even no signal. But then I have kids, it's not just me upping and leaving. So I had to think of so many things. By the end of the day, I told myself, Jacinta, you have to keep moving. You have to live your life. You have to achieve all the things that you want to achieve. So likewise, if you're there and maybe you come from a corrupt country where people who have power, because most of the time you'll find that these people will either be very powerful or they have connections or they have little money to keep bribing and paying people. So even if you were to say to go report it, no action will be taken against them. But just try either way. Let there be a record of you having said that this person is actually following me around or is stalking me. To consult somebody or like a legal team somewhere. Know your options. Do you need a restraining order? And before you get to that, I always say don't ruffle the water or don't stir the waters until you're really ready to go down that legal patrol team or the legal way. So just know your options, report it, keep yourself safe, like be very safe when you can. but the main one is keep going, keep moving. After all, you do not know what these people are doing with their lives. They're probably moving on and dating and doing their thing. So what makes them feel like they have the right to keep you stuck in one place? What gives them the right to feel like you only exist for them? You do not. Remember, you found this person when you are a grown person or a grown woman. You had your dreams, you had your visions, you knew how you wanted to conduct your business or even who you wanted to be. So do not stop because of that. And the last thing I always used to say, because I would find people around me telling me, Jacinta, what if this person kills you? You cannot live in fear. If I used to tell them, if this person is the one who is meant to take my life, then they will take it either way, and there's no way I can hide. So live, 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 live. Do not let the fear, do not let the threats, do not let these talkings stand in your way. And if you can, restart your life somewhere else. Restart your life somewhere else. Let them be someone else's headache. Let them be someone else's let them bother someone else. You're too good for that. So I hope I'm speaking to some women out there who are actually going through the similar situation, because I know you mean you a lot. I see the DMs and I appreciate so much when you ask me such things and you ask me to address them. This is why I felt the need to talk about this story, because it is my personal story. I went through it, and I'm telling you now, as you can see, I'm in a happier place, I'm in a better space. So you can too. So I hope this helps. And being November, I hope that I can do a video with my husband, because it is the month that I got engaged. So I don't know whether he'll be able to join me for the next episode, but if he will, we'll tell you about our engagement story. Was it all fireworks and glam like we see in the movies? Or was it through the online space? Or was it, what do you think? Comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think. How do you think my engagement was? Just tell me. Who knows? You might be able to win a prize. So until next time, bye bye.